Our Connie system. Are you okay? As if they have a solution for you. They have none. Oh, there is nothing much we can do. This is the way we can go about it. But IPOB is not letting them sleep. And I want to thank the UK chapter. You keep doing your work. One day, in fact, it's already yielding. It's yielding fruits. So currently they behave as if we are oblivious, or they are oblivious of our existence. We don't exist. They know nothing about us. They pretend that they don't see anything. They see everything we do. But as Nnamdi Kanu said, if we do not do what we are doing today, if we do not do what we are doing now, they will say we rushed into war. That is why we are taking this long step, known by law. As you can see, we are in court with them and we are winning. Buhari, when asked, said, yes, there could be political resolution or whatever, but the law has to take its course. And then Nnamdi Kanu has to come to court. Nnamdi Kanu came to court, and then Nnamdi Kanu has been winning since then. So, the answer is Britain. The answer is Britain. Had IPOB been banded in the same sphere as Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, and the rest of them, you will be shocked by how much they know about us. That is when CNN will sneak out from their invisible radar to spew absolute hoax. That is when Sky News will remember to carry our news, and heavens be damned if they forget to tag the leader of the group. Which is their plan. That is what they want to do. Get the infiltrators, let them commit mayhem and unleash terror on our people, and then they say, yeah, these people are terrorists, and that is why their leader is where he is. They want to extinguish us from the face of the earth. They want to obliterate us. Bunch of evil, twisted living beings. That is how they work. A little bit pointer on how they work. They will send the infiltrators, then they sit on the fence and look in the trees and pretend like, okay, what is going on in that place? We don't actually know. But they are the instigators, they are the provocateurs of the very event going on. Then click. They will use their media and nap you in the corner and give you a brand new name. I remember during my master's degree program, I had lots of Libyans in my department. They were all under the care of the Gaddafi government. They were all under the scholarship of the government. They were well taken care of by the government. And some of them really, I had one, she was working in the disaster recovery department. And we had a conversation, and she told me why she was sent to come and get a course, and so she can specialize in disaster recovery in Libya, in anticipation for natural disasters like earthquakes and the rest of them. And she told me good things about our government, because we know how we know how the government was infiltrated. And what was on the news was that he was shot by a young boy who was a member of a rebel group, really? And that people was very happy that he died. When a lot of people I had in my department were sad. They were heartbroken. And eventually some of them stopped coming because there was no government to sponsor their education anymore. But I trust IPOB media, who understands the way they operate and will always win wars against all these media outlets. Nnamdi Kanu prepared his media arms, and they understand the way these powers and principalities work, and they always win. I also recall the interview I had in 2021. That was in July. I can't pick the date right now in my head. By the Times UK, after my husband was renditioned. The title of the interview was "Wife of Biafran Rebel Leader Takes Over North England." That was very displeasing to me because I know my husband is the protagonist of IPOB and not a rebel. And the only character they could liken him to was Robin Hood. Jokers! Robin Hood. You liking Nnamdi Kanu to Robin Hood of Nottingham. Take another rebranding pattern by these powers. When you hear of Benin massacre, what do you think happened? I want to try and not take too much of our time. Britain will disrespect and disregard you with impunity and hope that you show no reaction whatsoever. They rebrand their act of provocation upon the Benin Kingdom and rebranded it as Benin Massacre. I think we all know the story, and that probably will be for another day. Another way of getting to you is by getting those very close to you. If I recall the Ndongan king, how the Portuguese hired some Imbangalans. Imbangalas, they call Imbangalas. They were the tribe, the warrior tribe of Ndongo. Ndongo is now I think we call it Angola. So the Portuguese, during the slave trade, kept taking and taking. They like to take. They like to take. Sit on you. You must not move around. If you move around, then there's a problem. Is the audacity for me? So they hired some Imbangalas as mercenaries, and the new threat, that very threat, forced the Ndongan king to give up any attempts to reconquer his lost territories of Ndongo. This is just to point to you how they operate. They will use the person within or near your territory to try to subjugate you. Now, talk about the Aburi Accord. I will try to round up in the next few minutes as people's attention span starts to diminish after 30 minutes, and some people don't remember most of the things you say after 30 minutes. I've picked that up at some point. Our eternal father, Ojukwu, and the three other head of states toasted to their reconciliation and agreement with champagne. I'm just using the final the summary. They toasted to the agreement with champagne. Remember, they all had to travel to Aburi, and that is in Ghana, due to the tension that brewed after the counter coup. Just that meeting, only attending that meeting meant a lot. It meant that every party present in that party, in that very meeting, wanted a solution to the imminent tension. Ojukwu meant business as he went with a strong team of legal, political, economic advisors, secretaries, and realms of papers, because he knew he meant business. So, and I also believe that the leaders who attended that very meeting also understood what they were there for. And they toasted to their agreement. Now, not only did the other leaders agree with Ojukwu that the regions and peoples of the nation first draw apart, which is free federalism. We practice we, but they also agreed to Ojuku's point that whoever was at the top would only be a titular head. So the person sits as a titular head, but the person will only act when all the four regions have met and taken a unanimous decision. Now, why do you think that they stayed 2 days? They spent 2 days deliberating in meetings, and after reaching an agreement, someone decides to break it. How do you think that happened? That would cause the dissolution of Nigeria. That will bring apart. How can you love Nigeria more than your own country? So how did that come about? That was Britain. That was when principalities and powers whispered to go on. They whispered to go on. And that was how the Abuja Accord failed. Britain, being the power, came in and disorganized the agreement using their principalities who were within. You know the rest. And since then, any strong voice from the Biafra region that speaks for the betterment and freedom of the people must face these principalities created by Nigeria and Britain. We had such principality in 2015, where a principality stationed his devilish friend, who put his political ambition above my husband's health and life, under the guise of representing my husband on pro bono. The full details of what happened is narrated. I narrated that in my book. You might be wondering, what book? What is this book she talking about? Yes. When I visited my husband in the DSS, and we talked about everything I am doing has come to a halt, which is my work, my businesses, and my charity organization, and the difficulties myself, his sons, are going through as a family in his absence. The difficulties the little one has to deal with in school because of his father's absence. My social life, because as a wife of a freedom fighter, I will not go to just anywhere. I will not speak to just anyone, because there are enemies unknown. Those of you on social media, have you seen the insults and lies going on social media about me? I'm not on social media, but I do get told that I have relatives on social media. But it doesn't bother me. I see those people as people who are below the belly of the snake. And that means the lowest of the lows. When someone is below the belly of the snake, the person is lower, is the lowest of the lows, lower than them all. Because 100% of these people know nothing about me, and 97% of them have never set their eyes on me. So when you indulge in talking about someone you know nothing about and insulting that person who did nothing to you, you are a donkey. My father was saying, and to be honest with you, that does not bother me, because I don't do that. And as my husband most times will say, I know you don't like that. I know you don't like that. It will done that to me. He knows I can't be bothered, because the frequency that I operate in is far above your limit. So I really won't blame you if you look at me and you think, oh my God, I don't believe there's such person in this world. Let me drag her into the gutter where you and your fellow pigs are playing with delight. But believe you me, I won't get in there with you because I don't do dirt. I don't do dirt. Another lie that I need to debunk here is that our little son won the sum of $500,000, the sum of 500 US thousand dollars. I saw a particular in fact, it was my husband's uncle, the wife sent it to me, his uncle's wife sent it to me. And I said, see, I've seen this. Said this one is different. This one is different. This one has $500,000. The other one was 5,000, and this has that became the picture. Are you serious? So later, I still ignored it. Anyway, I don't have time. I've been very ill. I got a few phone calls, which explained. I had to explain, telling those people that the news is a hoax. Is a hoax. It's not true. It is not true. Our little son did not win any 500,000 US dollars. It's not true. People who are on social media were talking about it, and the wicked thing about this lie is that that was the time the financial burden of my medical treatment became very critical. A few people asked me during the 30th of May, and I was surprised. I'm like, it's very serious. I don't take it seriously, but people are really asking. So it means some people believe that Nnamdi Kanu's son won 500,000 US dollars. That is a hoax from the pit of hell. I don't know where that came from, but that was propagated to hinder, I believe, to hinder me from getting any financial help or anywhere. I don't know what it is in Ace, but I'm trying to put one and two together. I don't get it. These are some of the principalities that I deal with as a wife of a freedom fighter. This is the principality that I deal with as a wife of the camp. The sacrifices that I have made and still making. So in all these, my husband suggested to me, and he said, I mean, when we were talking about the difficulties we're facing as family, he suggested to me, you've always wanted to write it. Why don't you write the book? And I said, okay. And I started. This book is an X-ray of my life. It is an X-ray of my life as the wife of a freedom fighter. True life story. From the very first day Nnamdi Kanu set his eyes on me till date. It is a book with names, locations, evidences, and details of all the events that occurred around me as the wife of the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu, the freedom fighter. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Biafrans. The book is on 80% completion, and I promise you, it will be a bomb. So strap your seatbelt and wait for that book. So many things that you do not know about and will never know will be made known to you in that book. Wait for it. Sorry, I had to digress. I had to just digress to that very point. Anyway, so going back to the principalities of 2015, where a supposed counsel who was supposed to defend my husband was rather using my husband to cash out and climb his political ladder. I had to take the bull by the horn. I nearly lost my son then. I was going into 8 months. That was the last trimester. because of the stress, because of the pain I went through then. I would vomit every day from the day I conceived till the day I put to bed. I would vomit every day. I would lie down on the floor for at least 1 hour. I will be unconscious. Every morning I will be unconscious. And after an hour or so, sometimes 45 minutes, I will regain consciousness, and then I will stand up and start to fight for my husband. I had to take the bull by the horn, and that was what gave birth to Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor you see today. And you all saw what he did then and what he is still doing. I mean, what I brought him in then for, he did. So my husband, our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, left him and loved what he did and worked with him and continued to work with him and gave him a different contract, I think. And both of them they've been working together since then. I just did my job then to make sure that my husband stayed alive. Because this very person, I have this narrated in my book, this very person, this very counsel would sit in front of the, what is it called, the media, without having done any work. Every work, every filing done in the magistrate court was done by my father. And because some of us don't talk doesn't mean that, in fact, when people don't actually tell their own part of the story, you should be afraid. Because in my Kwado, let me not dip in too much into that. I want to encourage every one of us, the principal officers, the leadership, and the Biafrans at large. Do not be discouraged whenever you are faced with these principalities, because they will always attack you whenever you're doing the right thing or in the right direction of this movement. Nobody knows that I have been very sick, very, very sick. Even though the leadership are aware, but none of you know that I've been very sick. Nobody knows. And I have been undergoing some surgeries. And currently I'm still on treatment, regardless. Regardless my state of health, I had to arrange for doctors from my sickbed for my husband. And I'm glad to tell Biafrans that his medical investigations have begun. And I'm sure you already know that. At this point, I have to appreciate my PA, Chioma. She has been more than a PA to me. She's been a sister to me. When no relation, no sister, no brother, no friend, no husband was to see me through this life-threatening surgery. She was there for me. She had to come. Because according to the medical law, I cannot undergo that important procedure because I need an adult. There must be an adult with me. So by the time I returned to the land of living, this happened on the 4th. By the time I returned to the land of the living, she had already collected my little boy from school. In fact, I had some medical procedures that I had to go back on my feet. Some medical procedures that I had before that very one I had on the 4th. I had to go, but no one to take me home, no one to pick Nnamdi Kanu from school. I have to get up and walk slowly from the very procedure to his school to pick him up from school. And I will be walking slowly. You imagine all eyes on me, and everyone will be wondering, why is she walking that slowly? The penultimate surgery, which is the second to the last surgery I had, was on the 22nd of June, 2023. The medical procedure failed. In fact, after some trials, it failed. And I was in severe pains. But whilst I was on the recovery bed, I was watching the appeal court proceedings in the UK. The appeal court proceedings for my husband in the UK. I was on the failed surgery recovery bed, and I was watching it. So this time around, because nobody, Chioma had to come for the last surgery as they refused me being alone. This happened 4 days before the Finland rally. And as duty called, I had to obey. I had to obey the voice of IPOB and disobey the voice of my medical doctor who told me, do not speak on top of your voice, you're still very faint, you need to, don't do anything, don't walk, don't drive, don't do this, don't sit down for long, do not do any strenuous movement. But guess what? The day after the surgery, I am left with no choice than to take my little one to school, still in pains. After Chioma had left, I said I had to drive. I was told don't drive, but I had to. Who would? Don't walk to him. I had to, because nobody would do it for me. Chioma, I want to thank you. I can't thank you enough. But please, you need to activate my social media handles. In fact, as we speak, I need you to begin to activate my social media handles. We are going back to social media. So ask yourself, when you cast aspersions and insult the movement and the leadership, what sacrifice are you making? Every one of us has one thing or another that we're sacrificing. But when you cast aspersions, what sacrifice are you making? Ask yourself that question. Probably your data and your returns from your paymasters, and you use your data to call names. Those name callings, they mean nothing. I see them, I call them ad hominems. You have ad hominem, you have ad hominem fallacy. And when you are in that mode, your frontal lobe is dormant, doesn't work. And because you're pugnacious, impetuous, and impertinent, your actions and behavior depicts insanity, depicts insanity. Like you can't reason, you running around like only. Once again, I want to appreciate all Biafrans all over the world. The principal officers, the leadership, and Umakwani. Speaking of Umakwani, please, DOS and Biafrans back home, I have a worry that we are accepting the fact that our children cannot study history in school, can't learn anything, don't know anything about our history. Let us all rise up to make sure that Igbo language and the history studies are being taught in schools. Our petitions or whatever, let's start to write. Because if you put your ears to the ground, you will notice that Africa is beginning to raise her voice. Africa is rising. There is a sound of revolutionary union for Africa by Pan-Africanists. And we know that MAZI Nnamdi Kanu is a Pan-Africanist. And we must be among the protagonists of this new song. I, for one, I am a lover of sound mind. and of sound reasoning. So our children must be trained in that line to stand against principalities and powers in the future, to reason rationally and not emotionally. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. It's a pleasure. I really appreciate you all, and I thank you for this very honor. May Chukwu Okike Abiama, onye nke pụrụ ime ihe niile, bless and protect you all. Ise, Ise, Ise. This is Radio Biafra, and this is where we worship. From me, from here, it is good evening.